Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cook, Eat, Repeat. I'm your host, Chef Nathan Lippy, and today I want to show you it's not a shortcut, but it's definitely short, and it's going to be delicious. I'm going to show you how to make some handmade griddle biscuits with the rosemary garlic butter. Think somewhere between flatbread and Mama's biscuits, but they're quick, they're really easy, and you're going to want to make them all the time. They're so good. Let's get started with our rosemary garlic butter. Now this is pretty simple. It's got rosemary, it's got garlic, and it's got butter. Pretty simple. We say it a good bit. Delicious, wonderful food doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes complicated just complicates things. It's unnecessary. Let's put this on the griddle top. We want it to start melting. I have my griddle on high heat because I do want to bring this up to temperature. And here's a fun little trick. You hear people talk about smoke points. They talk about whether or not something's going to burn at a certain temperature. Butter does not have the highest smoke point, so if we add a touch of olive oil right to our butter, we're increasing the smoke point of our butter so that it doesn't burn. It can get a little bit hotter before it burns. How many times can I say that? Very simple. Let's talk about garlic. I've got a couple of pieces of garlic here. We're just going to slice it kind of thin. I want little beautiful chips. If you wanted to, you could smash these. The appearance isn't all that important. What we're looking for is flavor. So what I want is a decent amount of surface area so all of those beautiful garlic oils will leach out into our butter. All right, let's add that garlic right to our butter and oil. I'm also gonna grab some rosemary. Fresh rosemary and garlic are a match made in heaven. These flavors are gonna be wicked. That's only gonna need a couple of minutes. Now let's talk about our dough. This is very, very simple. I mentioned it before. It's not a shortcut, but it is definitely short. We're gonna add some all-purpose flour to our bowl. Essentially what we're making, it's kind of a flatbread, and to be honest, there are variations of this all around the world. You have fry bread, you have naan bread, you have chapati, you have all kinds of different versions of a basic dough recipe like this. Today it's gonna be a bit more like biscuit, but we're not adding yeast. We are gonna add about a teaspoon of baking powder, maybe a little touch more. You know, let's do a little pinch of salt as well, and a pinch of black pepper. Now we're gonna mix all of our dry ingredients as well as you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's looking good. Now let's grab a little bit more of that olive oil. We're gonna need about, I don't know, let's say a tablespoon and a half for this much. It's gonna give us some body and some flavor. Now we need the last ingredient, which is water. The base of this entire recipe is essentially water and flour. We're gonna go a little bit at a time just to make sure we get our consistency right. So just start mixing it in with your spatula until it starts to form a dough. And we don't want this to be too sticky. We also don't want it to be too tight. I'm actually feeling pretty good about where we are. Once it forms, once it starts pulling together like that, let's go ahead and get our hands in there. Get all the flour on the sides and start kneading the dough. You're basically incorporating all of the ingredients, activating some of the gluten. That's looking good. Get all of that stuff on the sides. You'll see it starting to feel like it might be getting a little wet again, but as you knead it, it'll start to pull together. You can always add a little more water or a little more flour if the consistency isn't where you want. I'm feeling good about this. You know, I want to put just a little bit of flour on my cutting board right here, and then let's put our dough ball right in the middle. Now we can really go to town. Now we're gonna get our hands in there, give it a nice press, and we're kneading. You only need to do this for a minute or so. You'll notice the flour really starts to combine in there. Everything starts to grab together. See what's pulling up some of that flour? If it does start sticking, just a little touch of flour. That's all you need. Yeah, you can start to see it's like, oh, look at that. We're almost to Biscuit Town. Let's need a little bit more. I'm feeling good about this. And once we get a finished roll that feels nice and good, let's go ahead and form it into a ball. And we are gonna let this sit just for a couple of minutes. Let all the flour in there, let the relationship happen. feel good about that. Now you could do one giant biscuit, but we're gonna actually take it apart into 4 pieces and do it by hand in just a minute. But let's check on our butter over here. I hear some bubbles, which means we are getting really close. and that is looking stellar. Now let's turn the heat down to low on this side, and I'm gonna turn the heat up to high on the other side. Now essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna flatten these out in just a minute and cook it in that flavored butter and oil. It's gonna be phenomenal. So we need, let's say 5 minutes on this dough. Give it a chance to rest, lift a little bit, and we'll be right back. It's been a few minutes. Now we can get to the fun part. So what we're gonna do is take our beautiful ball of dough. Let's just cut it into 4s. Feel good about that. It's gonna make 4 biscuits, or griddle biscuits, if you will. Now this is the real simple part. Now if it was a flatbread, I might be rolling it out really, really thin, which you could do. You'd be making your own little flatbread. But I want a little bit of body to it, so there's no rhyme or reason to this. It doesn't have to be perfectly circle. Let's call it artisanal, rustic, handmade. Let's call it that. So what I'm looking for, let's go a little flatter. Now this is gonna puff just a little bit, but not much. Remember, we didn't add any yeast, so we're not gonna get that rise. I feel pretty good about that. Let's do this again. I'll grab this next one, making these little griddle biscuits. Think of it somewhere between a biscuit and a flatbread. All right, those look fantastic. All right, let's talk about our butter real quick. Now I'm gonna come over to my griddle. Now that butter has been soaking up all the flavor from the garlic and the rosemary. We're gonna use that to cook our biscuits in. So I'm gonna take my spoon. I'm gonna go with a little bit of that beautifully flavored butter. Oh my goodness. Now we're gonna come over to this side and we're gonna put some down. You know, let's do a little bit more. Yeah, this looks good. Unbelievable. Now let's pick up our gorgeous little griddle biscuits and we're gonna throw those right down into the butter. Now these really don't take too long, just a few minutes. Think of it like flatbread. Honestly, it's more like flatbread than it is like a biscuit. It's somewhere in the middle. We're just having fun, playing around, having fun, playing with our food. Who said there's anything wrong with that? Now for plating, this is really simple. I'm gonna take this little guy right here, and I have all of this leftover, gorgeous, stunning, flavored butter. Look at this. Let some of that garlic fall in there. Oh yeah. If you want to, you can take maybe one of those things of rosemary. Let's see. Oh, it's gotten crispy here at the bottom. Let's just throw this in there like that. Just leave it. Just like that, just for garnish. So people can see what we're doing, paying attention. I think it's time to flip our biscuits, or at least give them a check. Let's see how they're doing. Give a lift right here. Let's just go ahead and flip it. Oh, I'm feeling good about that. Let's go with the next one. Oh yeah, hello littles, little beauties. We'll come back. Oh yeah. You know what we can do? We can add a little bit more of that butter if you wanted, because we do have a touch left over. We took our time to impart so much flavor in that. Let's let that go for, I'd say, 2 or 3 more minutes, and it's time to eat. Simple and elegant really is the name of the game. These biscuits look perfect. Let's go ahead and pull those off and put them on our plate next to our beautiful little flavored butter. I mean, it's too easy not to do. This is a winner. It's delicious and it's really quick. Oh, when we break them open, check this out. Look at that. Ethan, can you see that? Fluffy, gorgeous goodness. Come on now. Griddle biscuits. Griddle biscuits for the win. Now you can take this beautiful baby, give her a little dip. That's fantastic. You know what we could do? Check this out. A little bit of salt and pepper into our butter. A little bit. Wow, that rosemary really pops through. It's also one of those things nice to have in your back pocket. You can pull something out. Maybe you forgot bread. If you roll it out, it'd be more like flatbread. You could fold it, put stuff in it, make a pizza out of it. That'd be fun. CJ would like that. You should make your own. You should do that on his show. This is a fun one. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for chilling, whatever CJ calls it, where the old people hang out. We traded in our solo cups for wine glasses, which I'm okay with. So this is a fun one. Be sure to check out CJ's first cooking show. It is a ton of fun. It's a blast. Check out Betty's show. Check out Todd's show. But this is Cook, Eat, Repeat, where we help you become a better cook one recipe at a time. I'm your host, Chef Nathan Lippy, and I'll see you guys in the next video.